everyone, welcome back to the Gundam Close-Up View. After the last relook on the Master Grade E2 Double Bullet, I just love it even more. Unfortunately, that is the only Master Grade that I was able to collect. The other Master Grade from the H series that I really want is the Master Grade 8-1 Normal. Definitely will watch out for that in the near future. So in this episode, I would like to circle back to the Gundam Wing series. As we all know, there are 5 main Gundam from the main character group, which each of them have their own unique design and weapon. However, only one is capable of transformation, and we already have a quick look into that mobile suit. Today, we're going to pay attention to the 6th Gundam suit, which is the main opponent of the Gundam Wing Zero, the one and only Gundam that can transform into a 2-head dragon. So yes, we are taking a tour to the 1/100 Master Grade Gundam Epyon, which was released in 2011. So what we are looking here is a snap build finished product with panel light and decal. If the H2 Double Bullet is a model that you must do panel lining, the Gundam Epyon is the one that you must apply the decal to appreciate the design details. Also, Bandai only released the EW version of this mobile suit, so it does not have the Stardom Trank upgrade for the forearm. Since the main color is dark red, I choose to do the panel light in gray. As always, on our left is the box art. At first, I can't really tell what scene this snapshot can form because I don't recall seeing the Wing Zero custom with the Angel Wing version battling the Epyon in the movie. But then I saw the subtext underneath the Endless Word logo, which say Glory of the Loser. On that version of the story, those 2 mobile suit designs did have a couple fights. So there you go. The fight scene happened in space, and the Wing Zero custom is chasing the Epyon with it in its mobile armor mode. In the front, Bandai also slapped on the close-up of the mobile suit in its Gundam mode, holding the beam sword and wiping its iconic heat rock into our face. Moving to the right, we have all the weapon and accessory coming with the model kit, beam sword, the string cord, the shield, the heat rod, exchangeable finger, the display stand connection for the MA mode. So question time, this 2011 model, still good to buy? If so, would you include this to your collection? In my opinion, the main selling point of this model are for sure the dragon form and the dragon tail weapon. If those 2 aspects are managed properly, for sure we will pull the trigger. However, before we get into the conclusion, let's have a closer look in detail of all the pieces. First, we have the beam sword. Since this model suit is designed mainly for close combat, its melee weapon for sure will have a special treatment. What we are looking at here is the sword that in its storage mode. The spiky detail on the gore, the fuller also follow up with the same design. The white pipe decal on both edges also help to enrich the look. On the side of the fuller, we can see those vein looking texture on both sides. This is where the beam energy will be released to form the sword shape. Moving to the beam effect, this is for sure a deadly beam effect part. Bandai make the spike effect in 2 layers, and the inner layer is a little bit bumped up on the surface as well. You have to make sure the 4 tiny connection parts fit in perfectly to secure it, so simply just slide it in all the way. So next is the string cord. According to the design, the beam sword is connected directly to the suit power plane, so this cord is more thicker and stronger than any regular cord effect that we have seen so far. One end will connect to the bottom of the sword grip. Make sure the shorter connection part is the core and the longer side is for the grip. If you have it flipped, the connection will be very loose. The other end is connected to the adapter part, which has quite a little bit of detail as well, combined with a sizable white decal. The only readable letter on that is caution if you are curious. The adapter part can be directly connected to either side of the side skirt armor. Moving on to the shield, even though it's tiny, it does not lack of detail at all. We have dark blue armor on top of the gray in the frame, then the design top it off with the red armor pieces. The spikiness design can be spotted throughout the whole shield. Spiky detail on the gray inner frame and here, spiky on both ends of the shield. The connection part is also very unique. On the regular use, we just open up this part. For transformation, we close it down and flip the long connection part all the way up. Also need to mention the position of the decal here is excellent as well. We have pipe type here, string type here, and the block type here. Next is the heat rod. It is constructed by 10 similar parts and topped with a shape of a pointy blade. Even though it feels repetitive while building those parts, the simpleness does help to weight it down a little bit since it's only combining by 2 dark blue pieces snapped together with the red joint in between. Simple but not lacking in detail. Make sure you have your panel line marker ready. All the parts have separate joy which can be locked and released independently. Because of this gimmick, it can be posed in many directions. Pointing straight forward, have it twisted, or waving shooting form. Either one is very cool to show off while posing. For the weapon, last but not least is the Dragon Claw. I wish Bandai would make the size a little bit bigger and add in one more articulation, even though they did try to put in some detail by adding 4 decals surrounding the claw. It was just too small to be listed as a deadly weapon compared to the other one. Also, the position is sort of awkward to use since this is located inside of the forearm. It reminds me of the Spider-Man's web shooting gimmick rather than the claw. So moving on, let's have a quick look in the wing. In terms of design, it is way simpler than any of the Wing Zero backpack. The main connection pieces in the backpack with a tiny movable thruster, one set of small wing and one set of big wing. Even though the small wing size is hardly noticeable, Bandai still pack it with in-the-frame detail. Next up is the big wing. It is fairly flat design, but it's very easy to pose. It can go up and down very far. Combining with the connection joy from the backpack, the wing can be positioned at a lot of different angles. Again, spikiness run through the whole wing. Many sophisticated designs are packed in here. The wing can be expanded even more if you don't have enough of those spikiness. Doing that, simply pull down the lower part of the wing. The other 2 side wing will spread out automatically. Nicely done here. So moving to the model, first starting with the waist of the lower body. Due to the transformation gimmick, all the waist skirt armor has a complete inner frame. The good thing is that we can see the color separation made by the inner frame and the armor pieces. For example, we see the gray inner frame peek through here on the front skirt. Also, 1/3 of the side skirt and the back skirt has some open area to show the inner frame. In terms of articulation, each of them has independent movement joy. The only limitation is the front skirt, since it can't really go up high due to the abs armor. Regarding to decal, the waist skirt armor has the best decal design setup from all the master grade that I have built so far. Not too overwhelmed, not too simple, it is just right on point. There are 2 on the front, 2 on the side, and there are 2 on the back. Moving to the leg, I have to give Bandai credit on the leg joy design. I guess they must have considered the transformation gimmick would create a lot of pressure on the hip joints. They go with a very bulky and secure design compared to any of the 00 model or any X-Ray model kit that I have built. Articulation is also not bad. The only limitation is again the front skirt. It can only go up this high because of that. No split armor on the thigh, but the spiking theme is also presented here. Down to the knee joint, it could have done a better knee bend if the lower leg armor did not get into the way. However, it still can pull off more than 90% degree bend, so much better than the Unicorn Gundam already. In terms of design, the Epyon for sure did not skip any leg day. It is bulky and full of detail. This is one of the most impressive leg armor design. The dragon neck design blends in very well on the leg. Not only the inner frame show off some nice detail, the armor pieces are also covered with a lot of beautiful decal. Most of the white color separation part is coming from the decal, so make sure you apply them all. Depending on the pose you want the Epyon to be in, make sure you reposition the dragon theme on the knee accordingly. Down to the ankle, it has a decent double joint movement. Again, we see many dry transfer decal. Moving on to the feet, the upper feet have no problem pointing down for some flying forward pose. However, it can't really move up much. But we can still take advantage of the lower leg joint with it designed for the dragon neck to get a bit more mobility if you desire. The yellow pieces is really nice touch for the look. Spikiness and clear part on the tip also make these feet stand out among the other Gundam. Overall looking, the color scheme and design share some similarity to Iron Man. Another thing we need to pay attention to is when we put the red armor pieces together, is it a little bit tight? So if you do not position it right when pushing it in, you will end up with some stretch mark like mine here. So moving on to the upper body, one thing I would like to point out is that for some reason the whole torso design reminds me of Cells from Dragon Ball when he is still in his first phase of the transformation. Like 2 eyes, the mouth, the jaw. Sorry if you can unseen that. So back to the Gundam design, the upper body for sure is rich in design detail, but the articulation is lacking. If Bandai could have made the waist inner frame a little bit more bigger, then we will have more room to turn the upper body around. For this current design, either it will bump into the front skirt or it will bump into the middle back skirt. I guess Bandai did try to give it a little bit more articulation by adding the rocking joint on the upper abs. Well, it helped, but barely. Up in the middle of the torso, we see the clear part similar to the Wing Zero. Make sure to do panel line, especially on the dark blue armor, so we can see these details more vivid. For color, we have dark red as base, then dark blue and yellow mixed in with this as a second layer. Last is the white part on the top of the radar. We can also see a little bit of gray in the frame from the side. Next is the arm. This is sort of an oversized shoulder armor. A lot of thought has been put into the design, so the detail level on this shoulder is as much as the torso. Similarly, we have dark red at base, the side edge covered by dark blue. Beside the gray inner frame, we also spot some light purple inner frame here. That is a very nice touch on color separation. When posing around, make sure you handle this with care because the joint is a little bit tight and small. The Epyon is one of those models that when we use the shoulder joint extension, it does not feel awkward, like the shoulder got dislocated. Because the joint is small, plus the big armor can move to cover up the gap nicely. The hand movement is not the best due to the shoulder armor, but it has enough to pull off the cool pose. The same scenario applies to the elbow and the forearm. Width is just a simple ball joint, and the dragon claw is a big plus for the look. Moving to the head, very similar to the Gundam Wing Zero, especially the ear part. We have the red zigzag style V-fin here. The other different spot is the red chin color mixed in with the lower jaw, make it look even more evil, kind of bloody. The head portion looked a little bit small, but benefit from that is it won't get in the way when we get the wing spread post up high. So moving on with the transformation. So let's get the dragon out of the cage, shall we? First of all, we move the forearm up 90 degrees and pull out both palms. Next, we open up and pull out the claws. On the back, we open the back skirt and untie the middle back skirt. Then, extend the joint and connect it to the backpack. Once we secure the position, we swing down the leg and pull down the toe. Here is where we extend the lower leg joint for a better angle and open up the dragon mouth underneath the feet. For the tail, we took out the cord along with the grip connection pieces. Then we attach the sword to the red connection piece. On the shield, we open up the longer joint. The connection to the sword will be spot here. The user manual asks us to secure all the tail joint by lining them up and pushing them in. Doing that, all the joint will be locked in a straight line. However, it really depends on personal taste because having it run loose does not interfere with anything. Next up, we hold the wing connection and pull it down. Doing this, the big wing won't interfere with the dragon head while posing. It just gives it more room to move around. There's a lock gimmick for the wing here as well, but it's actually not that important. It is more for user to measure if we pull it all the way down yet or not. Last but not least, we use the special adapter for the display stand connection. Place it underneath the tail and block it all together. Then close the back skirt all together to cover it up. So in conclusion, this 2011 model is very unique mobile suit. The model kit is very successful when it comes to design, which look elegant and deadly at the same time. Transformation is fairly simple and very secure. We don't see a lot of small joints that are easily damaged like what we see on the other transformation model kit. Moreover, the dragon mode is very nice touch, since most of the transformable model we have from Bandai are either resemble the blade mode or similar to that. In addition, on the joints that are used for transformation does not hinder the mobile suit mode at all, but also add more mobility for a better pose. If we really want to complain, I would say the proportion would need a bit of a rework. Increase the size of the head, the torso, and the waist in the frame. At the same time, reduce the size of the shoulder armor and the leg a little bit more. Tiny bit is good enough. For decal, it is a pain, but it is very satisfying when we complete it. The decal is extremely on point. Not only does it add more color separation, but also highlight a lot more detail of the model kit. If you decide to pull a trigger on this mobile suit, I would highly recommend the Master Grade. Bandai has not released many model kits for the Gundam Epyon yet. You don't find this in the high grade or the Metal Build line. only we can see this in Master Grade and the SD version. Another option to consider is the special coding version that Bandai recently announced. Again, that one is limited and is actually very hard to get. I would recommend not getting that and just stick with the regular Master Grade. So the main reason is because when this model was released in 2011, undergrade technology was actually not quite there yet, or maybe it was there but it was not applied into this runner design. So we see a lot of dot mark and that will destroy the purpose of the coding. So alright, that is everything I want to share on this Master Grade. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share and hit that notification button. Bye bye and I will see you next time.